This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. Tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, my man Tony Crow. And ladies and gentlemen, whew, that's all I can say right now. We got to take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? Because the Knicks pulled out. They pulled out an amazing game. An amazing game. Clutch. Captain Clutch came to the rescue after taking Schroeder, to me, it was on purpose. I mean, let's put it like this. He could feel where Jalen Brunson was. And I feel like he purposely sat down, came down, knowing that he would, you know what I'm saying? Dirty play. The Pistons were playing dirty. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. They was playing kind of dirty. But all in all, I think this is the kind of Nick. All right, when this series started, I thought that this would be the perfect series to set the Knicks up to play like the Boston Celtics, right? Because the Knicks would have to figure out how to play, how to have a tough mindset, how to have a tough mentality, how to play the grit and grind game and win. You know what I'm saying? They were going to face controversy. You know what I mean? Something that this team hasn't been able to do together because they haven't been together that long. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And in this game today, they faced it all.
Adversity.
They faced all kinds of adversity. You know what I'm saying? From having a 16-point lead with a chance to go up 18. Jalen Brunson misses the layup. And then from there, the Pistons go on a crazy run. And I'm including the end of the second quarter and the third quarter, right? Where they go on a crazy run and ultimately take the lead and then lead by 10. And Jalen Brunson, I think with the Pistons, maybe with a 5-point lead or whatever it is, goes into the locker room after Schroeder lands on his leg. And it looked like
intentional.
I mean, but it looked like Brunson wasn't coming back.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe he was gone. I thought
his leg could be broke.
Yeah. The way it came down on it, I thought maybe he was done for the season. I mean, I thought maybe he would have been done for the playoffs. So, obviously it wasn't as bad as it looked or as we thought it was going to be, but then had to climb and crawl back into the game. And the Pistons were playing dirty, in my opinion. They were hip checking. They were, when someone goes to this isn't dirty, but when someone goes to the basket, they were hawking. I mean, 3 and 4 guys coming to try to block the shot to make you scared to go to the basket. You know what I'm saying? They were talking mad shit to Cat, trying to intimidate Cat. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you seen Tobias Harris in his ear, they're playing physical with him. Like they were challenging Karl Anthony Towns. You know what I'm saying? They would, and he stepped up in the clutch, but they were challenging him. They were like, okay, you want to push, you want to do this, you want to do that. Now we're going to test you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were playing super physical, and it's not just physical, but some of the plays were dirty. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the shooter thing, Jalen Duren, hip check
going on.
Josh Hart.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like some of those things were dirty, in my opinion, and the rest were letting them get away with it. And still, somehow, the Knicks found a way to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson comes back from injury. And, Captain Clutch went and got the cape. took whatever shot he needed to put into his leg.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? And just and came in and started cooking.
anytime Brunson go to the locker room and come back, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a
You know what I'm
wrap. You
saying?
already know what's coming.
Right. I mean, it comes back and you know, I think he scored like 13 straight points or something like that, or at least scored at some point. The announcer said he scored 13 points since the injury or something like that.
In the fourth quarter, yep.
In the fourth quarter. I mean, it was an amazing game. And then Cat stepped up and did his thing, you know, knocking down threes, hitting tough shots. You know, that was a tough turnaround that he hit behind, you know, shooting from behind the backboard. You know what I mean? You know, this is the type of game, though, the Knicks had that, you know, facing a lot of adversity.
McCall, who couldn't hit a
bucket, hit
game.
2 big buckets.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Is definitely, you know, this is the type of game that that I was hoping we'd see from them. You know what I'm saying? They figured out, facing all kinds of adversity, they figured out how to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They had to play gritty. They had to play some defense. You know what I'm saying? They had to withstand the crowd, obviously, the referees, and you know, they did it. They pulled it out.
I mean, to be honest, the type of games that we've seen in this series is the type of fight that was missing against the Bostons, the OKCs, the Clevelands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they haven't had that fight, that same level of fight and wherewithal against those teams. So I agree with you. This could be huge moving forward. You know, granted, one more win, close them out.
Got to get another one. You know, I think that this is the type of game if you're the Pistons that you're like, I mean, the Pistons threw haymakers today.
And connected.
Right? They threw haymakers today. You know what I mean? So this is the type of game that could drain them, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because they threw haymakers, they threw uppercuts, they threw roundhouse rights and lefts. I mean, they did everything. Took a 10-point lead and still lost the game.
I think I seen somebody biting too.
They probably were. You know what I'm saying? And somehow the Knicks managed to pull it out. And you know, if you're the Pistons, you know, you got to be thinking like, okay, maybe we just can't beat this team. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're just not good enough. You know what I mean? Yeah, let me get to a phone call real quick. Caller, you live. Name me where you're from, please.
What's going on, Sim? This is Jason Benjamin.
Jason, what's happening with you, brother? How you feeling? Good.
What's going on, Tony Crow? How you doing, brother?
The other JB, my guy. What's good?
What's good, fellas? Thanks for taking my call, man. Hey, listen, man. Wow. You know, part of this game, you know, when we gave up that big run in the third, you know, part of me was getting tight. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I was like, yo, what we got going on? Like, let's wake up. And then JB went down. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But man, what a resilient win that was, man. I mean,
resilient.
Big win. Few points, man. Cat to me stepped up big in that last, I want to say maybe 7 minutes of that game, man. Even in foul trouble, he made some really, really big shots, man. That big three he hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that big three he hit kind of took the life out of Detroit, man. You kind of see them deflate. And he was calling for the ball, very aggressive. Very, very impressed by his game today. Yeah, he was in some foul trouble, some stupid calls. But man, that big shot he hit, that turnaround jumper he hit on the baseline, then that big three, man. Big shot. And then what else can we say about Brunson, man? You know, it just seems to me every time he touches the court, man, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Brunson that hasn't been said in the last 3-4 years he's been with the Knicks, man. For him to come out from the locker room, you know, injured, and he kind of took over that game. I mean, they really had nobody to stop him. Schroeder was grabbing him left and right. Beasley, all those guys, and they just couldn't do nothing with him, man. So big game by Brunson. A few little constructive criticisms. OG and McHale was kind of off today. McHale hit some shots in the fourth quarter. He tried to get going, but OG just didn't see himself today. I don't know what was going on. I know he got his guard paid. That takes a lot of energy, but man, he just seemed off today. Hopefully in the closeout game, he could give us a little more. He just seemed off. McHale had some good shots. They just didn't go in today, in my opinion. But he had some good defensive plays on K that I saw. K just made some tough shots. So McBride, I'm not going to kill him too much today. But to me, he hasn't really showed up this series. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm not going to down him. We're still going to need him in the playoff run. Mm-hmm. But to me, he has to step up a little bit more. Josh, I've been critical on Josh. I've been hard on him. But man, it was 3 for 5 3-point shooting. Really, he played well today, man. Like I said, I've been hard on him, but he's played well. He played well today, and we needed those buckets from him today.
Yeah. Josh Hart gave us 14 points, 10 rebounds today. You know what I mean?
I said, he
on
played
9
well.
shots. Yeah.
He played well. Shots. Mitch. Oh man, I'm gonna just chalk it up to a bad game. But the free throw shooting, man, it didn't look good. He was short on all of them.
Yeah.
But I know he hasn't always been a good, free throw shooter. But man, you got to give us at least 2 of them, man. 1 to 2 of them. Another thing, I'm with you, Sim and Tony. Detroit, I got to give them credit, man. Them guys play hard. They play tough. They play hard. They don't quit. But like you said, Sam, they threw haymakers, and it seems like it's not enough. It's not enough.
It's not enough. And, the question is, will that take a toll on them? Now they lost 2 at home. You know what I'm saying? They threw haymakers and still couldn't come up with a win. Now they got to come back to the Garden. You know what I'm saying? How long can they play tough before they just realize, we got to go back to the drawing, not back to the drawing board. We got to keep building. We got to, it's done for us. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I said before the series, I'll give Detroit their respect. Very tough team, very physical team. But at the end of the day, talent matters. And I know they have Cade, who's a budding star. And to me, I think once he gets a kind of a post game, he's going to be unstoppable. He's nice, man. Like, I don't know.
That kid is not a joke.
He's an up and coming superstar.
Without a doubt, he's not a joke.
Should be in the conversation for next face of the league.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, he's
easy.
Yeah, the maturation of his game from last year, the last 3 years entering the league to now has just been incredible, man. He's really nice. I'll definitely be looking afar, see where his career goes. But talent matters in this league, man. Shot making matters. And while Cade is nice, we still got the 2 best players in this series, in my opinion. And that's Cat and that's Brunson. And when Cat is making them kind of shots, and in Brunson, it kind of, to me, it took the life out of the crowd in Detroit because they was like, damn, what else can we do?
Yeah.
Right. And last few points. And I'll let y'all go so other callers can get on. Here's my thing, man. And I get it. The postseason is different from the regular season, right? But here's my thing, man. To me, the refs got to get a control of this series, man. I get it. You're going to let some things slide. Things even out. Did Hart foul what's his name at the end? Absolutely. As a Knicks fan, I will admit that. He did foul what's his name. No doubt about it. I ain't going to sit up here like he did it. But the refs got to get control of this game, man. My thing is this. Brunson gets mugged all up and down the court. Cat, for some reason, I still don't know why, don't get calls in the paint. I don't understand what's going on with these refs. And I'm not blaming them. We up 3-1, so it hasn't really affected us. You know, and I was saying to my boy watching the game, it's like, yo, this is what Detroit wants. They want us to get rattled. They want us to, you know, go back and forth, fight. And I just said, yo, everybody keep their cool. I'm, you know, not like they can hear me through the TV. I was telling, you know, Cat, keep your cool. Brunson, keep your cool. Because this is what they want. They want to fight. They want to grab. This is the series they want. But at the end of the day, they're not better than us. I think everybody was worried in the beginning of before Detroit, watch out for Detroit. Yeah, they're a tough team. They play defense. But when you have high and you guys played ball, I played ball. When you have high level scores like Cat and Brunson, man, and for me, Detroit needs another scorer, right? Yeah, they have Schroeder getting hot. Beasley got hot. But they need another secondary scorer.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they have that.
Well, they got that. They got that. He's just not playing Jaden Ivey.
Yes, you know what? You're right.
They got Jaden Ivey. So
you're right.
You're right. They definitely got that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, they're a team to look out for. Trust me, and they're getting better. They're gonna get better from this series too.
There's a bunch of them. Orlando's up there.
Yeah.
So what I'll say to wrap this up, I expect Tuesday the Garden's going to be on fire.
Yeah.
If we don't close this out, I'll be shocked because, like you said, Tony, Detroit got to be shell shocked after this loss, man, because they made a big run. You know, they looked good in that third quarter. We couldn't buy a bucket. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I was like, damn, what we got going on? We can't make a bucket.
We're about to talk about that third quarter because we can't keep having those.
What yeah, 18 points.
I look at it, but
it might have been less than that.
It was, that was we can't have third quarters like that. That was a scary third quarter, man.
It might have been the fourth quarter where they said 18 points since the halftime.
That was a scary third quarter.
So I'm happy we escaped with this loss. Hopefully, there should be no excuse, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
The team should be smelling blood right now. We got Detroit on the ropes. So I'm actually expecting a big win on Tuesday. I'm not going to give no prediction, but I'm sure they'll give us a little fight, but I'm expecting a big win. So thank you guys for taking my
Appreciate
call.
You, man.
And all right, you guys be good.
Peace.
All right,
let's talk about that third quarter, man, because if we're gonna close this series out, we can't have third quarters like that. That was a rough third quarter.
If we're gonna advance further than the first round, we can't have that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Knicks scored in the third quarter versus the Pistons. They scored 14 points in the third quarter. They were outscored 28-14 in the third quarter.
Yeah, because it was like 18 points midway through the fourth.
Oh,
since halftime.
Since halftime. I mean, the end of the second quarter, the Pistons go on. The Knicks were up 16. Right. The Knicks go into the half up 7.
Mm-hmm.
But
the momentum had already swung.
Momentum swung, and it continued into the third quarter, and then the Pistons dominated the third quarter. Defensively, rebounding the ball, just the way that they played aggressive. You know what I'm saying? They just dominated that third quarter, and it was definitely scary and nerve-wracking going into the fourth quarter because I didn't know if the Knicks were. I didn't know how to. And then Brunson gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know if they were going to be able to rebound. We didn't know if they were going to be and literally rebound.
It definitely was looking bleak.
Yeah, I mean, even in the third quarter, in the third quarter, I'm sorry, the Knicks were out rebounded 18-5 in that quarter. I mean, Detroit was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They were everywhere. You would have thought that this was an elimination game for Detroit. Mm-hmm. So if they came like that in this game in the third quarter, just imagine what the elimination.
And it's funny you said that because midway through the second quarter, what did I keep saying? The Knicks is playing like this a closeout game,
right?
Like the Knicks is looking like they about to blow the game open,
right? That's what it looked like for a second. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. And but they played Bickerstaff at one of the timeouts. And he's like, who these guys are. He didn't get into specifics, but he was like, who these guys are. You know what I mean? We know we can score. We know we can get to our spots. You know what I'm saying? But when he said, who these guys are, to me, that was something like,
can't play around.
Well, two things. You can't play around, but also, get in there, be aggressive, swing, bite, punch, kick, do whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because they
don't like it.
They don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But today, they stood up to it. You know what I mean? They stood up to it. And I think the Knicks grew. They won, but I also think they grew.
Yeah, their mental toughness was tested the most in this game.
Yeah.
And early on, I didn't say it, but I felt like, they were showing some mental toughness, some fight early. Then it got a little out of hand, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? But to make that comeback the way they did, you know what I mean? They showed it.
They showed it. I think they grew a lot in this game. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say they grew up, but they grew a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, they're playing in this series, and they can feel. I'm speaking from speculation, but they can feel that they're in a foxhole together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They can feel it because these games are so intense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's another series as intense as this is right now.
I haven't seen a lot of playoff basketball, but I couldn't imagine it
because this is.
I couldn't imagine it. I don't think anyone has been this close either. The games have been this close,
right?
Like, collectively,
right? Just an amazing game. Amazing game. Let me ask you: are you worried? Well, let me get to a super chat first.
Yeah, I think you might have two.
Get to a super chat. A friend named Legion said, "Sim Tony was good. I told you, Cade Cunningham, Mario Manningham, green eggs and ham, Knicks in 5. Time to close it out at the Garden." Listen, Cade, Cade Cunningham, that guy he's a monster. He's a monster.
So when you talk about young face of the league or next face of the league, I think he has everything. I don't know if he has the flash.
Right.
That's the only, you know what I mean?
He doesn't have the market.
We talk about his poise, which is a great thing on the court.
Beautiful. He has great poise.
You know what I mean? But
we seen him in the first quarter. When Cat was on the ground, I think Tobias Harris was there, right? And Ronald Holland was about to stand over top of him, and he comes and he pushes him. You know what I mean? Like those type of things that Cade does. He's he's gonna be in this league for a very long time. He's gonna be a star for a very long time in this league. His game is smooth. He's calm. He's collected. He makes good decisions, and he's still very, very young. So just think about how much more that's going to grow. But does he have the flash? I don't know if he has the flash. And does he play for a team that has the flash? In the Pistons, not really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
I put him up there with any one of those young guys.
Oh yeah, he'll be the best player in the league soon,
especially at the point position because he has the ball in his hand.
Yeah, he'll be the best player in the league soon. Are you worried? Are you worried about Brunson and the injury?
No, because look at the performance and when he came back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what they did in the locker room. You know what I mean? So,
word.
If that's the argument someone's saying, then then I'm a little concerned, but I wouldn't say worried.
Okay.
Especially with the lead, like not saying I want us to close it out right now, next game.
Right.
But we got a cushion as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if he can't play or needs to rest or take a game off, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think we're in a position to where it's feasible to do now, as opposed to if we lost and it was tied
Yeah.
2-2.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, okay, he stopped. He went back to the locker room. You know, I'm sure they gave him some pain medication. I'm sure they looked at it and you know, could tell determine if it, you know, how serious it is. But sometimes the pain don't hit you until after the game. After that adrenaline, you know, the pain medication is gone. Now your adrenaline has worn off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now you start feeling the pain. Now, you know,
like I said,
we'll
we up 3-1.
Right.
If he got to miss a game, honestly, I would still have confidence that we could win the game. I wouldn't necessarily be like we're favored to. You know what I mean? But I think we could still win the game. I think Cam is capable of stepping up. I think Wright is capable of stepping up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then collectively, you know, we would have to have Mikal on. You know what I mean? We would have to have Cat continuing to do what he's been doing. You know what I mean? So I think we have enough. Overall, we're a better team. We're a deeper team. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're a more experienced team. Like, kudos to them. They play hard.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
And please, nobody in this chat mention Tyler, because I don't know if he's ready to handle what we're seeing in this series. So don't mention him. I just don't think he's ready to handle it. So let's not do that. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a tough kid. But
he's a tough kid, but I don't know if he's ready. I don't know if he's ready for that. You know what I'm saying? NYK Bro 99 said, take the Knicks off your opening promo and put Cat in there. You're right. I gotta take them guys off. 100%.
He's been talking about it for a while.
I've been talking about it. I just ain't got to it. You know what I'm saying? I just haven't got to it. You know what I'm saying? But you know. Silk, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Woo-saw. Woo saw Tony. I was sweating like a mofo in this game. But yo, like my boy was nervous because we be talking back and forth. When Brunson got hurt, he goes, Brunson going for the game. I'm like, I don't know. Brunson be shocking me. And that stuff is broke. Like last year with his hand, he ended up coming back. I got to, you know, the conspiracy sim they saying, 2 out of these 3 games, he be going with one pair of sneakers in one half, come back with another pair of sneakers in the second half, and they thinking he getting cortisone shots on his ankle. That's why they put on a different pair of sneakers. Like, come on, you can't play with no cortisone shot at a halftime. You need at least 2 or 3 hours for that thing to settle in your body, for your body to be numbed up. But I don't know, man. Captain Clutch. I might have to look. What's the guy's name? I might have to go get me even though it's summertime coming, I might have to get me a hoodie. I might have to be
print jurisdiction.
Yeah, print jurisdiction. Yeah. You gotta
I might just have to be out here sweating with a hoodie on. Forget the t-shirt. I gotta have the hoodie on with Captain Clutch.
You got to. You got to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried about Brunson?
No. Brunson's crazy, yo. He takes pain. Pain don't bother him. Unless it's broke, he plays. He's weird. Only time he sits is when it's broke. His hand was broke. He couldn't play. But pain, he handles. For a guy who goes back and forth, jerking this way, that way, and he can take the pain.
I mean,
I'm not scared of Bruce.
That's how his body's made. I don't know. That's how. Okay, I dig it. I get it. I mean, in my mind, he's gonna play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's gonna play.
He's playing. What we got 2 days off. He's playing.
We got 2 days off.
Yeah, Tuesday. Right?
We play Tuesday. We got Monday.
One day.
Today's Sunday. I mean, it's an early game today, but
yeah, early game. Play Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they were trying to give us this game, sir. They were trying to give Detroit this game. They were letting them foul call, pushing, bullying, stuffing. They wasn't calling nothing on their end, but they were calling everything on our end.
That's what I was telling.
They were trying.
I was telling Sim that Detroit is pushing the limits on what they could get away with, time in and time out on some Draymond Green type stuff, and the Knicks ain't pushing. You know what I mean? Like they not testing back. So
right.
You know what I mean? Mind you, this is in the midst of us, down 10, but
yeah,
it felt like they was pushing. Like
they was doing everything.
Kicking, biting.
Brunson goes to Hart goes to the basket. Cade grabs his wrist,
pulls him
down. There's no call. There's a call from the ref, but no flagrant,
and stared him down.
You know what I'm saying? The play before that, he had his hand in Brunson's back. They didn't call it and one. You know what I mean?
How about the one where Hart going up for the rebound and
undercut
body shots him hard on the ground? They didn't even check for a flagrant on that one. That would have been us. They would have been checking. And that wasn't no basketball play. He wasn't going for the ball. He body checked him while he was in midair.
Right.
Like, that ain't dirty?
That's dirty play. That's dirty play.
It's not basketball.
You know what I'm saying?
Like what I said, the last call, I like to my boy, like, hey, they let him get away with it. I'm like, I don't argue with fouls because karma is karma. They don't want to call that foul at the last a 1-point game. Unless it's flagrant, they don't really want to call that call. Because Hart did foul Tim Hardaway. He did hit him on the head. But they don't really want to call that unless it's fragrant. Because they would have been, the rest of the court mad heat who called that play after knowing all the other plays that Detroit was doing physically in the third quarter, and they didn't call none of it. So they let that go. If it goes in, it goes in. They get the rebound, I can understand that. But I don't know. My man Cat, everybody keeps saying he this, he that. That is still, I had to call you up. And you said you wasn't feeling his fadeaways. You feeling his fadeaways now?
But hold up though. But to defend myself though, in that third quarter, Cade was going to the cup. And again, I was like, yo, he's going to the cup and we shooting fadeaways. Now, and it wasn't just Cat. You know what I'm saying? Mikal Bridges, we shooting fadeaways and threes. They going to the cup. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta give my man, when crunch time, he hitting them fadeaways. When it's crunch time, that hitting them fadeaways. My man Mark Bryant is teaching him how to do them fadeaways at clutch time. He may not be doing them all the time, but in the last game and this game, when we needed a bucket, he got that Elijah fadeaway. He got the behind the backboard dunking fadeaway. But he hitting them fadeaway. You gotta give him give him a little confidence. Come on.
I give it to him. I give it to him. That was a tough bucket.
Yeah, behind the backboard was crazy.
That was a tough bucket behind the backboard. You know what I'm saying? He was desperate. You know what I mean? He was desperate. The Knicks were desperate, and he hit a clutch shot. They couldn't find the basket anywhere. You know what I mean?
True.
They couldn't find the basket anywhere.
They were bringing 3 guys with Brunson. And I don't know, man. Bridges, I got a love-hate relationship with Bridges, yo. He was 0 for 8 in the first half. Did he come back in the second?
But he hit 2 big buckets.
He hit them two big buckets. Threes. I'm like, this dude, I love him, but I hate him. Why you can't do this consistently, my brother?
Maybe he needs the pressure. Maybe he needs the pressure.
Hopefully this jump starts him for Tuesday.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I was gonna say I can't imagine him playing this inconsistent, moving forward. But at the same time, he's also been inconsistent pretty much all year. You know what I mean? The best that we can hope for though is he hits one of them stretches,
right?
That he has had this year,
right?
You know what I mean? If he hits one of them stretches, we don't need it for that long. All we need at this point is what. We got 3 wins, 13 more wins.
And on the real fellas, I'm gonna be nervous if the Phoenix Suns decide to trade Booker and Detroit gets Booker with Cade. They're gonna be a scary team. If they able to make a trade where they get Booker with
Cade, I don't even want to talk about what they might do because I want Booker. But anyway,
I know we want Booker, but we don't got the draft pick. But they do.
Yeah, no doubt. Nah, they're gonna be tough. Even if Jaden Ivey was playing, they're gonna be tough. There's no doubt about that.
But I'm thinking of kind of trade where they might trade Jaden Ivey to Phoenix because they wanted to start over young players.
Yeah,
and they get Booker. You put Booker with Cade? Who you double teaming? I don't want to see that. As a Knicks fan, I don't want to see that. But that team, you put Booker, Cade, and Tim Hardaway Jr. as the three, and then you got Isaiah Stewart and Durant as the two bigs. They're gonna be scary. Even Boston gonna be scared of that.
Yeah.
But that's for down the line. Right now, we got the win. Knicks in 5, stay alive. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so
it's possible now.
All right, fellas.
Appreciate you, bro.
One.
Peace.
And Sam.
Yeah.
Cat fade away. I mean,
I'm gonna take it for now, but I need Cat to get. I still need the Cat to get his ass in the post, man. On some plays.
They started him in the post.
I mean, but I get it. I mean, they do, but sometimes he's trying to penetrate between 2 and 3 people after dribbling from the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? I think Josh Hart was trying to get him the ball one time, and he yelled at him to go back down into the post. He still popped out. He got the foul on Tobias Harris, but sometimes I just want to command this spot down there.
Yeah, Cat was in his head. He was trying to go against 3 against 1. He goes, they can't stop me. I'm not passing it out. I'm like, Cat, they got 3 guys on you. Pass the damn ball out.
Yeah.
But he getting his head sometimes. All right, fellas.
No doubt. So appreciate you, bro.
One.
Peace. Yeah, I mean, I can't obviously can't complain today because Knicks pulled out with the win. Fred Wong, thank you for the super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Says Detroit don't play good defense. I disagree with you. They play wild, and the refs let them get away with it. Hacking and whacking, that's the only way they make a run. I disagree. I think they do play good defense. I think they play very good defense.
I think they test the limits.
They test the limits.
So wherever the line is, they're gonna be right at that line.
Yep.
If the refs allow more, they're gonna do more.
They're gonna do more.
And honestly, that's something I think we need.
And that's what that's what you should do, right? You're gonna say, okay, what are the refs gonna let me get away with? Whatever they're gonna let me get away with, that's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's gamesmanship. It's up to the referees to say, okay, y'all are doing too much. Let me
control the game.
Let me control the game. You know what I'm saying? And they do have to get a better control of this basketball, this series, because Detroit,
they want the Knicks to flip.
Yeah,
they want. You know what I mean? They want them to kind of
and they're trying
lose their cool.
They're trying to force it. They're forcing it. They're forcing it. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to they're trying to antagonize Cat. You know what I mean? He came back with a big fourth quarter. Obviously being physical with Brunson. I hate to say it like this, but they're not saying or doing too much to Bridges or OG because they're fading away themselves.
I mean, they was talking to Bridges today.
You know what I mean?
They was talking to Bridges today. I haven't really seen him talk to Hart too much. I haven't really seen him talk to OG too much. I will say this though, and I didn't mention it during the game. Maybe if you rewatch it or whatever the case, during the Pistons run, during that stretch, I ain't like OG's demeanor. Like, he was the one guy out on the floor that looked rattled. You know what I mean? He looked like
I agree.
He didn't believe in the team that they could come back. And it was interesting. And then he sat for a long time after that. I thought maybe he was tired, but he came back. He didn't really have the impact that I was looking for from him. Everybody else had their moment. You know, Mikal bounced back with his 2 big threes, Cat Lee in the fourth with his 2 big buckets, and obviously Brunson after injury was phenomenal.
Yeah. Nah, the Knicks are gonna need OG in game 5, right? They're gonna need OG. They're gonna need Bridges. Listen, Cat can never again in these playoffs afford to have a game like he did in game two. Never ever again. He cannot afford to do that. So I don't think he will. We know Brunson's not going to. So one of those guys always got to step up. We need a third guy because the bench ain't giving us nothing. And people can complain and say they're not playing. I don't care. They're not giving us nothing. When they're out there, they don't look like they. Deuce isn't giving us any. Deuce played 18 minutes.
I was going to say
because he plays defense.
Coach gave Deuce extended run tonight. Yeah. Based off performance wise, or impact wise, he didn't really impact the game. He was missing everything. You know, they were wide open shots. Like these are shots that he makes that you're confident in him taking, but he's been missing all series.
Yeah.
But he got the minutes tonight.
You know, hopefully, you know what I mean. You know, I believe in Deuce though. He'll bounce back. I believe in Deuce. But you know, the bench. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna say, well, Tibbs needs to play boom, 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 boom. F out of here, man. Our bench, they're not handling the pressure. They're not handling it. You know what I mean? Let me get to a call. Call you live. Name me where you're from, please.
Hello, Sim. What's going on, Podfather? It's Ron, SKF.
Big Ron. What's going on, Ron? What's up with you, man?
Hey, man, I can't call it Playboy. There's been a lot going on, bro. You know, it's been a minute. I miss you guys. I haven't been able to chop it up with my bros in a minute. Stuff's been going on. I couldn't sleep. I had to shut down everything late at night. So, early, should I say. So every time you guys are doing post games, I can't jump on. Then I got then I was in isolation protocols because, I got the C word. And so I'm just getting back to where I need to be right now. So, yeah, today I was like, I'm going to jump on, but then I see you on location. So I'm like,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I see you walking and talking.
Appreciate you, man. I'm trying. I gotta keep some cardio up.
Yeah, man. So your thoughts on the game, man? How you feel?
Okay. So let me give you my normal Ron thoughts, and then I'm gonna give you my I don't know what's happening, but I feel I got a little Josh Uncle Fulio in me today. So
okay.
I'm very happy that the Knicks won this game. You know, I think the last time you had a show a couple of days ago, I told you this was a must win, and I know you agreed every game is a must win, but this game 4 was definitely important. And I saw you tweet it out as the game was going on. Now this game became a must win for real. I'm really, really happy they got the victory. Yeah, they let them play, and of course the call at the end went to the Knicks' favor. But come on, man, Detroit has been getting the majority of the calls throughout this whole series. They've been the aggressor, and the refs have been favoring them. We already know what happened in Game 2 with 34 free throws to 19. So it is what it is. So if the Knicks get a call, it happens. I mean, unfortunately, you would hope that no ref calls that in any series with seconds left in the game. Like sometimes you just got to let them play. Unless he knocked them down like egregiously, that's different. But and I'm happy with what I saw. It was great to see Brunson get back out there and add those points. I really see that what we just did in that fourth quarter is what you like to see and think the Knicks can do all the time, especially against Detroit. That 2-man of just barraging you with Brunson or Cat. You can't stop both of them. And so I'm glad that worked out for us. And I'm just happy we go up 3-1 with a little bit of breathing room, and hopefully we take care of business and knock them out. So that's the Ron take. That's it for me.
I'm gonna start with love.
I'm not trying to mess around with Detroit. We got to take him out. We got to take him out in Game 5. You know what I'm saying? And Orlando beat Boston in last game. So that's going to at least a Game 5. So if we can take them out in Game 5, You know what I mean? If Boston wins in Game 5, or if they end, if Boston wins in 5 games, or they go longer, we get a little bit more rest. You know what I mean? So I definitely trying to close this thing out in 5 games.
I'm with you
because this is a physical series, and the Knicks, their bodies are going to need time for treatment and rest. You know what I'm saying?
100%, I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. How are you feeling about the bench, though?
Okay, well, here's when I get into my Josh bag. I've been mad at the usage, and it's not because of the time that he's given certain players. I think what he's given Deuce has been more than enough. I don't know what happened with Cam Payne in Game 2 after what he did in Game 1, because I'm one of those who feels like if it wasn't for Cam Payne, the Knicks don't win Game 1, because he changed the momentum, gave the team some energy, some fight, and then they took the they got dogged them on defense, and they really clamped down. So I think that helped, but it's that energy, that lift, that spark that you can get from a player in the playoffs that really helps. So I was surprised that Cam Payne only played 4 minutes. I didn't like that. I think one of my biggest issues that I'm having right now is that Landry Shamet is getting limited minutes. And you could say, okay, well, when you're out there, you got to make the best of your time with your minutes. But he hasn't even attempted a shot in 2 games of playing 4 minutes apiece. Because my problem with Tibbs, and I said this multiple times throughout the years, he calls certain plays. He allows the guys to do their ISO thing and get things going. He doesn't call easy plays. He doesn't do the backdoor cuts and the easy moments to get layups for guys, because they're great scorers, but that doesn't mean you can't call some easy chippy things. Like some of Tibbs's inbound plays are fantastic. That inbound play that he called today, where they were able to get Duren lost and then Cat got a wide open 3, that's a good call. And he has a lot of those type of calls. It's just he refuses to, I don't know if he refuses or he just chooses not to run these plays often because he knows he has such talented offensive players.
Mm-hmm.
But that is going to help your team in ruts. It's going to help your best players, and it's definitely going to help the players who need that. So Shamet, a dribble handoff, get Shamet just a look, or even Cat. Cat is the best 3-point shooter on the team. You can't set a little quick pick for him, so he can just get a quick look. You know it's going in most of the time. Just things like that bother me. And so what I'm really saying is, with the bench, I would have liked for the Knicks to play DeLon Ray. I think Deuce has been a little bit of a disappointment. I think he's strong enough to take it. I think if Tibbs has to bench him, I don't think his psyche's going to be broken. I think you put DeLon right in there, give him some minutes, because defensively he's got great height, 6'5". He already, I think, does enough on defense that he can help change the game. And sometimes he gives you something offensively. And outside of that, I think Precious, even though Precious hasn't played consistently good throughout a lot of games this season, he has played good against Detroit. And you're running into foul trouble. You need another big out there. Why wouldn't you play Precious at all? That I don't understand. That's pretty much all I have to say about the bench.
Okay.
That's all fair.
Yeah, it's definitely all fair. At this point, do you play him in this series at this point?
This is what I was saying, Sim. If there was a series I was gonna play Precious, it would have been this series.
Mm.
I'm not messing around with Precious against Boston or better competitors. I just thought, since we already look like the better team, we can afford to do different things against Detroit. You know what I mean?
But that's where I'm a little. But see, I'm a little scary with doing that, because I look at the way that these games have gone and how tight these games have been. I don't know if we can experiment against Detroit. If we was winning by double digits every game, then I can, I'd be okay. You know what? We could. I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. I agree in this sense. If I was gonna play Precious, I would play him in this series before I play him in Boston. I also would play him against Cleveland, though. But not so much against Boston. Shamet, if I'm picking and choosing, I think we would utilize him better. He'd be better suited against Boston than in this series. And I say that because not that, and this is not even about toughness, but I don't think Precious gets pushed, punked. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
he
I can agree with
may
that.
not be like the best skilled guy out there,
Yeah,
but he ain't gonna get pushed around and punked. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna match that effort. He's gonna match that energy. He's gonna match all that Detroit has shown.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And help with the rebounding,
Yeah.
which is another place that we've been lacking.
right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I
Oh,
agree,
and
I
Steph,
agree with
you know,
that 100%. Yeah.
the other thing that I was going to say to you that you made me think about is that, you know, part of my point is that you notice that the Knicks have shown, and this is not just this series, this is towards the end of the regular season. We haven't had much of that killer instinct, and we can't really put teams away, and teams are getting back into it. Now, I know people are going to automatically point to the team is tired, they can't sustain it, whatever it may be. I'm just saying that's where I think being able to give your bench, a time to get in there and spell your starters, but also giving the opposing defense a different look. You know what I mean? Like I think that would help. It's much better. I would have preferred if he would have tried, especially this game,
Mhm.
to put these guys in there while we had a lead. When we were up 16, that was the time that you could say, "Hey, let me sprinkle one person in here right now and see if we can keep maintaining it."
The only thing about that 16-point lead is it was quick, Ron. We was
I know,
up
it was,
16, and the next thing you know, it was 10.
I would say hindsight.
It was
Honestly, I feel like
it's-
it wasn't quick because of the span in which they, you know what I mean? Like we couldn't score. So I felt like it was long in a sense. And the fact that they increased the lead, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they just tied it and it was close. Like they built that lead up as well.
they built it up.
So it took overall, it was long. But in hindsight, it's easy to say that because we lost the lead and we fought, you know what I mean? But in that moment, in that moment, you know what I mean? I don't know if I would have done it either, especially when
it's tough. Overall, how do you give Tibbs his coaching job today?
I don't know, bro. I'll be honest. I like what he's done in certain spells. Of course, I love what he does in the fourth quarter, like when he does the offensive defensive strategy. I think that's great. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like he's disappointed me in certain things that he's done. He almost choked me out right there. He caught me.
Ran up on him.
I just feel like, yeah, I know. I feel like in some ways the Knicks' talent is overcoming his lack of coaching.
You think so? I thought he coached a good game today.
I did.
No, I don't think he.
I thought he coached.
I don't think he was bad. No, I don't think he was bad today. But I guess I can't overlook the other games. You know what I mean? And I guess that's what I'm focused on because I want us to. Go ahead.
It's tough. This type of series is tough. You know what I mean? I think. I don't know. I think, especially when I look at today and some of the decisions he made, me and Tony were talking about, how come there's not a big in the game? Well, at that point in time, they were trying to foul Mitch to send him to the line, so that he had already missed 5 free throws or something like that at that point in time. Karl Anthony Towns had 4 fouls, right? So I guess maybe this was maybe you could have used Precious at this time. But he went small. I thought he did a good job not being afraid to do the offensive and defensive substitutions. When we talk about game management at the end of the game with 37 seconds left, he had a foul to give, he had a timeout, and he still had a challenge left. I thought that was pretty good game management to have that left at that point in the game when you really could have used them. I thought he coached a pretty good game.
Especially when you think about the other side. This is back-to-back games where Bickerstaff used his challenge early.
He used his
and
challenge
lost it.
early and lost it, and then have it. He could have challenged. He could have maybe challenged whether or not Tim Hardaway Jr. got
Well, you
fouled
can't
at the
you
end. I
can't
don't know.
challenge a non-call,
Can't challenge a no call. Yeah.
but you know there was definitely other calls within
Other calls
in
within.
the fourth quarter that you know he could have and maybe should have challenged.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing with
that's a good point.
I think the thing with Tibbs is his flaws are his flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't just pop up. So like when you say whatever it is that you didn't like this game, he's probably done that
Right.
20 times before, 30 times. You know what I mean? Like
No doubt.
it is.
Right.
He is who he is. So I agree with the things that you're saying, but I think I'm to the point where I accept him for who he is. And what he does, he sticks with his game plan and his philosophy. Him going small, honestly, that was a decision. Like in a normal circumstance, he would have put Precious in as that third. You know what I mean? So whatever the reason was, he went with the small lineup with OG at the 5.
Right.
I didn't like it personally. We was getting out rebounded. You know what I mean? We was getting killed on the glass at that time. But it worked out.
But we were getting killed on the glass, and maybe his thought process was we getting beaten on the glass anyway. I'm gonna try to go small because we've been getting beat on the glass the entire series. You know what I mean? It's hard to say.
What I will say is the Pistons didn't try to capitalize off of that. You know what I mean? They didn't look at that and say, "Oh, they're going small. Let's put them in the paint." You know what I mean? Let's do this.
Right.
Today we got beat 54-38 on the glass. 54.
Wow.
We won the game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
54-38. We had 38 rebounds altogether. They had 40 defensive rebounds. They had more defensive rebounds than we had altogether.
Damn, that's crazy.
You know.
So they had 18 offensive.
I mean, but so all right, but so you don't think that? And I get what you guys are saying, and I understand. Listen, I'm not gonna have Tibbs reinvent the wheel. I do know that all in all, Precious has not always showed up the way we want him to. But you don't think that that might have been something he could have went to today, especially when Cat got into foul trouble?
Yeah.
Just to give Precious a little bit of time.
It could have been.
And the other thing, I will.
Now let me just add: if you're playing Precious, ideally, you want to put shooters around him. You know, our shooters haven't been shooting well.
That's true.
So that might have been another reason why not to do it. Because, like, I'd rather get the shooters hot and put them all together than put Precious in with guys that aren't shooting well. But now, go ahead.
But let's not forget, Tony. Even though that could be an aberration, remember that you know the regular season game. You know, Precious was our main focal point on offense. They were feeding Precious the ball against Detroit. He was doing his thing. I don't know if he would do that all the time, but I'm just saying, like, when they made him the focal point and the main option, he was kind of getting busy. So I don't want to, shortchange his offensive ability. Sometimes it pops up. But the one thing I was going to say, like, outside of that, the only thing that I wish that Tibbs would do, even if he doesn't play Precious, I really do think that he should have played DeLon Wright at some point in this series and sat Deuce. Because I just think Deuce is struggling. And like I said, I think mentally Deuce is strong enough to take it. And, he can call on Deuce at another point and Deuce will snap right back in there. I just think DeLon Wright, as far as, dealing with some of these scorers that have popped up for them, shooters, I think he would have given us a better chance at defending them.
Did Wright start against the Celtics, the last Celtics game?
I don't remember. I know he started about 3 or 4 games in a row. I don't know if it was the Celtic game. It could have been. Can't remember.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think, Tibbs is going to trust Deuce.
It's a pecking order.
But at some point, I think he'll say, if Deuce, if his shot doesn't start falling, let me see what Wright can do.
That's all I'm asking for, Sim. That's all I'm hoping for. Because honestly, and the reason why I think like this is because maybe I'm naive a little bit. I didn't really think the Knicks were going to lose to Detroit in this series. Yes, I knew the games were going to be tough, but I said Knicks in 5 for a reason, and they're on pace to do that. Whether it happens or not doesn't really matter to me because the Knicks is still going to win this series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm already thinking about the next series, and I'll be honest. The only thing, and you guys can talk about that in the future. I don't know if you want to address that now. The only good thing that the Knicks have in their favor is that Boston is a little hobbled. Tatum is banged up, and Jaylen Brown is banged up. So you never know, man. That might actually work and benefit the Knicks in a big way. But I just don't know if we have enough to deal with them when they're fully healthy and clicking on all cylinders the way we are going about it right now. Tibbs would have to do something different.
I was just gonna say, especially the longer that series goes on, the more banged up they become.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys taking my call. Like I said, I miss being able to chop it up with you fellas, man. And look for me in the future, Sam. I'll be bothering y'all.
All right, no doubt. All right, peace.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Take care.
I thought Tibbs coached a good game, man. I thought he coached a good game.
Yeah, for me, the only thing I remember questioning in the moment was the small ball lineup.
Yeah,
and honestly, even in that moment, I didn't even think about Precious. like in the moment, I was just thinking like, all right, where's Mitch or Cat? And I knew Cat had the 4 fouls, so I'm like, dang, they fouled Mitch, and they forced Tibbs to make an adjustment. Like, yo, I can't play you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Fred Wong said, Sim, you're giving Detroit too much credit. They're not that good. They're just wild. Listen, these games have been tight. Whether you want to say they're wild or what, it's making the games tight. I don't care. They're making the games tight. You dig what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Nick from Jersey, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
Good. Feeling good, man. I mean, we got the win. I'm feeling real good. How you feeling? Oh, did we lose him? Nick, you there? I guess we lost him. Guess we lost him. He was there.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah, something must have happened. Some kind of. Here he is. Nick, what's going on, Nick?
Hey, sorry, man. My phone died out.
Oh, no problem.
Great win. How you guys doing? You guys doing good?
Well, good, man. Feeling good.
I just want to say one quick thing, and then I'll hang up. To all the fans out there who were losing their heads when Detroit was going on their run, and I'm not going to say, it wasn't good to be down 11, and it wasn't good that Brunson got hurt and everything. My confidence wasn't, very high at that moment. But if you guys can't tell that, when the Knicks are going to play a good game very early in the game, you could tell. When the Knicks establish their pace early in the game, they are like a 900 team. I think they were, if they have a small lead in these playoffs, the other team will go on a run, but the Knicks have already established their pace, and it's going to be Cat time. It's going to be Brunson time in the fourth quarter. So once I saw Brunson come back into the game and we got it down to 8, then we got it down to 6, I'm like, all right, this game's ours. Because, it was just one of those games where everybody was moving and grooving. They got Towns early, involved early. And it was good to see. So now we're up 3-1, and we'll close it out in 5.
Yeah. How'd you feel about Tom Thibodeau coaching today?
Yeah, I think it was fine. I mean, I would like to see, Mitch and Towns in there together more. I think that the one flaw of this team is that we have we got to take Mitch out at the end of the games to put Hart in there.
Yeah.
But you got to put Hart in there, So it's like we're without rim protection. So I kind of I always want Mitch in there, to get those defensive stuff. And he did do those switches. He put Deuce in there. He put Mitch in there for Towns and Brunson on a couple of possessions. But Yeah, I thought he was fine. You know, he didn't play Shamit at all.
Right.
He went 8. He went 8 this time. I think he'll probably play Shamit next game, depending on how the game's going. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, you know, look, whatever's going on tactically on the court is one thing. You know, I'm not a coach. I can't say we should be doing X, Y, and Z. But the team never quits. The team didn't quit. And all this nonsense about how last year's team is tough and this team isn't tough. The Pistons are considered the toughest team in the league, and here the Knicks are mentally and physically hanging with them every step of the way. You know, Bridges came back, hit 2 big shots. And, you know, on that last play with Tim Hardaway Jr., I don't want to hear it because he was doing a shimmy on that shot.
Yeah.
And
I
it
feel you.
was an excellent no call. Excellent
I feel
no
you.
call.
As many no calls that have gone against the Knicks in this game.
Yeah.
I could care less about that shot.
Right.
Yeah, you
It's
got
hilarious
brushed a
to
little
listen to the Pistons. All this nonsense about how Jalen Brunson's a foul baiter, blah blah blah. That was foul baiting at its height.
Right.
And I'm glad that the refs did not give it to him, because then, you know, it would have been 2-2 probably. So
Right.
justice happened. So I think they'll close it out in 5. And you know, now I'm just rooting for the Magic to beat up on the Celtics.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Go get another win. Make it 2-2. Take it to
Yes,
7.
sir.
You know what I'm
That would be
saying?
fantastic.
For real.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Nick, I appreciate your time, man.
Take care, guys.
Peace. Yeah, Tony, before we get up out of here. How important is it for the Knicks to close this team out? And in game 5, in game 5. How important is it?
To me, that's the song.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. I think you were muted. Go ahead.
The most important thing to me is doing that because of what you said.
Yeah.
Get the rest early. You know what I mean? You get to watch the Boston Orlando games. You know, you get to scout them. You get to get any more extra information that you might pick up. But the most important thing, just get some rest. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get Brunson some rest. See what's going on with that foot, that ankle, whatever it was, and you know, get a reset.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been talking about resets a couple of times this year. You know what I mean? Where they get these little breaks, these little rests, these little times to just relax and get all the things in order. I think that's huge. The earlier you get that, without having to rush to get back to the next series, it's important.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give them no more light. You know what I mean? They already beat us once at the Garden. You know what I mean? They'll be itching to try to get one more at home. You know what I mean? Considering these 2 losses, you don't want to give them no more light.
You give them a game at the Garden. They get a win at the Garden. Now, in their mindset, they don't have to win 2 more games. They just got to win 1, because now in game 7, anything can happen. Like you're in game 7 now. So if they win at the Garden, now they're like, oh, we're home, and we just got to win 1.
And we need this one because we just lost 2 here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
you know what I'm saying? You don't want that. You don't want that.
No momentum.
You don't want that. I mean, I think to me, it's really we got to win this one, because Brunson's leg is going to be hurting a little bit. You know what I mean? So he definitely needs the rest.
And this is the way I'm looking at it for the Knicks' perspective. I had a chance to close out a game at the Garden. Y'all ain't do it.
Right.
This time y'all owe us.
Right. Exactly.
Close it out at the Garden. You don't want that same feeling of missed the opportunity of closing it out at the Garden. Granted, you'll get another one, but still.
You know, Kevin said they're not beating us 3 games in a row, period. I dig it. And I think a lot of us said the same thing against the Indiana Pacers last year, right? They ain't beating us 3 games in a row. And I'm not saying that the Pistons are going to beat us 3 games in a row, but
it's 1 game at a time.
It's 1 game at a time. And if they win the next game, the mindset, you know, people, they got to beat us 3 games, right? Okay, that can be one mindset. But if they beat us, now it's just like you only have to win 1 game, because now we're both. once you get to game 7, you're both in the same situation.
Mm-hmm. And you have the momentum at that point.
You have the momentum at that point. The pressure is on you. You know what I'm saying? So,
off.
I mean, the pressure is off you. The pressure is on both teams. You know what I mean? So it's like, in their mind, okay, we won one in the Garden. Let's get another one in the Garden. Then all we got to do is win one. All you got to do is win 2 games, right? That's their mindset. So that's why with the Knicks, we got to end it. We can't give them any hope. You know, we give them a little bit of hope. Who knows what can happen? Let's just take them. We got to take them out.
This is the time where, now granted, everybody wasn't here, but this is the time where that experience from last year can kick in.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, don't give them no more light.
Right. Brunson should have the Brunson was there. Josh Hart was there. OG was there.
Deuce.
Even though OG, got hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're not gonna get him we can't give him no hope. Take him out. And saying, listen, guys play hard, good game, good series. You're gonna be a good basketball team, but not right now, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Not right now, you're not. We're taking you out. Yeah, to me, it's major that we win. You know what I mean? Curtis said the Pistons. Let me bring this up here. Get this up here. I don't know where it went now. Anyway, he said the Knicks already survived the Pistons' best shots on the road. So I would wonder how the Knicks could lose Game 5 at home.
They would have to put their guard down.
I'm gonna
they
say
would have to be too comfortable.
Who, the Knicks?
Yeah, for them to lose.
Let's put it like this. We haven't seen this Pistons team with this type of desperation. Because they haven't been in the closeout. Right? If they play, they're gonna play with some serious desperation. You know what I mean? And
this is the one though, Sam. I've been
serious desperation.
I've been calling for a blowout all series.
Yeah.
This should be the one. Given what they experienced last year, the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Given
I don't know if we can blow this team out.
I think if there's ever a time that they do fold, it's in a closeout situation. If they give their best punch and it don't phase us, you know what I mean? And we go up big, I think we can.
Yeah. I don't think we rebound well enough. I think they rebound too well. You know what I mean? I think they don't stop. They were down 16 and they come roaring back. They just never give up. They never stop, and they play physical and they play aggressive. You know what I mean? And because they're so aggressive, you can't catch everybody fouling. You know what I mean? I don't know if we can blow this team out. I think it's very hard to blow them out. You know what I mean?
I'll give you this: if the refs are gonna let it go, the way they have been, I agree, because that benefits them more than us.
But I think what happens with a team like this is like they create that thing where this is how they play, this is who they are.
It's like,
you know what I'm saying? And so they're gonna overlook some things.
It's like the old Pistons.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like the old Boston.
They're gonna overlook. The refs aren't gonna look at everything. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna, if we look at everything, we're gonna be calling a foul every 10 minutes, every 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
I felt like the Paul Pierce, Garnett, Boston team was like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The old Detroit team was like that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just, this team is, the Pistons are tough. You know what I mean? The Pistons are tough, but we got to close them out, get it done. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get up out of here. Appreciate your time. We're gonna do a losers lounge in a little bit over on Knicks and Bruises, so make sure you join us for that. All right. Celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate, ladies and gentlemen.
It's gonna be a good night.
Celebrate. We should all be able to rest easy tonight. You know what I mean? If we would have lost that game,
been a long drive for you.
It'd have been a long ride. You know what I mean? But ladies and gentlemen, I definitely appreciate it. I'm up out of here. Be peaceful.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you're feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.